Alright, hello my friends. I am back with more Wildfrost. Hope you've been enjoying the game so far. We've just finished Act 1 and are now going into Act 2. Let's take a look at our deck real quick, just to get everyone on the same page. We have our fearless leader, Owsnow, who just has 10 health and 5 attack. Foxy with this freezing charm that allows them to apply a frozen on each strike, so 3 frozen with each attack. Big Berry. Then we've got Hongo's Hammer and Flame Water, which we added, as well as 4 Scrappy Swords, 2 Snow Sticks, and a Pinkberry Juice that we started with. I have not been terribly impressed with this Hongo's Hammer, I'll be honest, because the poison ticks at the end of the opponent's turn rather than at the beginning. So you need to deal it, you need to play it too early in advance in order to prevent damage with it. But hopefully we can turn it around and make it more useful and change my opinion of the card. Now entering the Ice Caves. Let's go. We get some money from the Blind Snail, and now we have a choice between these Frozen Travelers and this Muncher. There's also the Woolly Snail, which I'm guessing this is a merchant. My guess is, I haven't been to one of these yet, but this will allow us to remove a card from our deck, and this, of course, we've seen before, that gets you a new companion. Let's go see if we're right, and this allows us to remove a card. Feed the Muncher! So, removing a card from your deck, in general, in deck-building games, is the single most powerful thing you can do. It increases the consistency and average power level of your deck significantly by removing the worst card. It's much better than adding a better card in terms of how much it increases the power level of your deck. So if this guy removes cards, which it sure looks like he does, then we're going to be doing that as much as we can in future runs. Let's get rid of this Scrappy Sword. No need to have this. We already have several of this effect, and we just want to tighten the shuffles of our deck. Oh. Okay, so you can remove multiple cards. That's interesting. So we don't want to thin our deck so much. Let's take a look at the deck overall. We don't want to thin our deck so much that we don't ever redraw things in the shuffle. We also don't want to thin our deck so much that we have no way to kill units. I like having both of these Snow Sticks. We could probably do without the healing effect, especially because we have Big Berry. Was not expecting the game to allow you to remove multiple cards from the deck with a single map node. I don't think I've ever played a deck-building game that lets you do that before. At least not without having a resource or something that you exchange for it. I believe I'll remove a second Scrappy Sword. Okay, only 2. But still, removing 2 cards is really, really nice. Really thins our deck out, so let's take a look at what we have now. On a given shuffle, we are fairly likely to pick up 1 damaging effect, which is what you usually want in one of these games, just to clear out an important enemy. We also have our 3 companions and our 2 freezing effects. The next card we would remove is probably this Pinkberry Juice. The heal, I think, is useful, but not essential, given that we heal in between rounds anyways. But let's see what this merchant offers us. Enter shop. Welcome. What can I get for you? So, we can get a run artifact. Oh yeah, I should also mention, we have this run artifact, the Sunbell of the Bell, that reduces our redraw counter by 1. These are cards. This is a charm, which provides, it looks like a random charm. An additional card. Cards with crowns are always played at the start of the battle. So this, I guess, is a charm that I can add to a card, and it will come into play right away, so I could start with a companion on the board. I think that seems pretty good. It saves us 1 setup turn. We have 2 damage and apply 5 shield barrage. So does that do 2 damage to... Let's see if it will tell us. The way I'm reading this card, it deals 2 damage to every enemy and shields us for 5. But there's also a reading where it could deal 2 damage to every enemy and shield them for 5. deal 2 damage, and apply 3 spice. Temporarily increases attack, clears after triggering. How does it determine which character you apply each of these things to? Like, am I dealing 2 damage to my own unit? Block blocks an entire instance of damage. Okay, that's great. Apply 1 block to a random ally, apply 1 block to a random enemy. I don't think we particularly need that card. I would like to buy this crown. Let's equip it and put it on Big Berry, and if we can get Big Berry to come into play at the beginning of the round. Unlike charms, crowns can be removed and switch to different cards between battles. Okay, great. If we can get Big Berry to just always start in play, that just saves us a turn of setup, as well as thinning our deck for future rounds. I probably will just buy a random charm just to see what options we get. This applies 1 poison, so I could place this on Foxy as well. Freeze and Poison sure seem like they combine very well. I could also put it on this Snow Stick. I think given that it... Or I could make Hongo's Hammer apply 4 poison instead of 3. Foxy is starting to look really stacked, but given that it just applies 3 times every single time we use Foxy to attack, having a second charm that does freeze and poison and really can help us lock down an entire enemy unit and then kill them over time, that seems very strong. Charms have gone up in price. Let's buy this Shellbow because I really want to understand how it works. And I think 1 more charm. Got a Frenzy Charm. Add 1 and gain Consume. So that means that this card will trigger more than once, but will be consumed. I don't think we want to place Consume on one of our companions, because we can cycle them through as they lose health. Although, getting a Frenzied attack on one of our... I guess my leader could have Frenzy, possibly. No, okay, we can't place that on a companion. Well, one option is to have the hammer and go up to 6 poison. Another option is just to place this on a Snow Stick and go up to 4 freezing. 2 damage from the Flame Water, rather than having to play that multiple times, is also very attractive. I think let's try to build our poison card into something pretty valuable here. This means it does 8 damage in over 1 turn. I can move a card to the reserve? No, okay. I guess this is for when we exceed our companion limit, but we'll find that out as we go. Alright, spent all our money. Let's keep on going. Let us battle the Spice Mokos. Okay, we've got Grumps, who, when hit, reduce the attacker's attack by 1. 8 damage, 0 attack, but every time it attacks, it gains an attack, and it has a 1-turn counter, so that is quite dangerous. And this one is 3 damage, 1 attack, when hit, apply 2 single-use damage to all allies in the row. Does this apply it to itself or not? We're not sure about that. I don't think we mind if either of these units gets their attack reduced, but we can move them freely, so let's just place Big Berry and Ousno in order here. I'm interested to see how this card works, so I might just do that right away, although I'm also tempted to just get this poison out, because that will clear my Coco before it starts doing anything, or I could do the Pepper Witch before it starts doing anything. Since this applies twice, it'll pretty much one-shot anything that I play it on. I think in this case I want to just clear this Pepper Witch early. This guy has lots of pepper, but that's okay because he's on a 7-turn cooldown and we can of course freeze him later. I could freeze, I could play this Shellbow. I think at this point I'm going to move my units down here. Oh, I have a choice between 5 block and 2 damage to everything, is how this seems to play out. Okay, well then in that case we'll just use freeze. Here I'm going to probably just freeze this guy again, maybe just cycle through a scrappy sword. I think we'll freeze this guy again and plan to trigger a shuffle on our next round. My unit will heal this round, but I don't need it to do so yet, so let's put 5 block on everything. Ah, okay, so it does do 2 damage to all of my own units. That's very interesting. Here I've got these things, which I don't particularly need. I don't want Foxy to hit Grumps, though, but let's get Foxy ticking out anyways. Killed that unit. They've placed a new Pepper Witch, 2 more Makokos, and a Goblin. Okay, escape from the battle, drop 4 currency when hit, and it leaves in 4 turns. Well, that's fine. I can... My units do have enough block that this isn't a particularly big problem. Foxy will clear pretty much anything that he hits in 2 turns. It's very interesting that this does damage and blocks. I'm curious about how that gets used later on in the game. This, I'm guessing, does not work on cards, but let's test that theory and freeze it. I'm okay letting these guys start to level up a little bit first. We have enough block that we should be able to get through this. Foxy's going to clear this Makoko, so that's going to be 3 damage, 3 freeze, and 3 poison. I think we're not going to worry too much about the Gobbling at this point. I can maybe just do some damage. I could play more block on all of my units. Going up to 10 block does mean that things are going to be a little easier for us in the future, and then we can start playing some more freezing effects on Grumps. I think I like setting up block for future rounds. Take a little bit of damage, but this guy is now frozen completely, so we can move out of this lane. I will have Big Berry probably hit Grumps, but let's cycle the hand, I think. What can we draw? I could give... something extra damage. I could also... We're taking 3 this turn on our front line, which is fine. We still have 6 block on Big Berry here. I could allow him to clear Makoko, wasting damage, but for a 2-point heal on everything, I don't think we particularly need to do that. I think doing 5 damage, clearing 1 is fine. Let's move him up here. We lose 1 point of total damage on him for the rest of the round, but I think that's okay. And let's also hit Grumps so that we can kill him before he is able to do us too much harm in later rounds. Here I want some way to freeze Makoko, I think. Gobbling is leaving, so we're not getting any money, but that's okay. I don't think we had the cards lining up to be able to do that too easily. I don't want this guy to stack up too much more damage, so I am going to trigger a reshuffle here. Freeze it. And then this next round, of course, we have to clear Grumps. We will then be able to deal damage. That'll be 5 plus 3 to the Pepper Witch, which will apply a ton of spice to the Makoko, but we could potentially freeze it again. I suppose we don't have a freezing effect here. Another option is I could use a barrage to deal 2 damage to everything, but that just gives it more health. I could trigger a reshuffle, which would allow me to draw into a freeze for this Makoko next round. Then my boss would kill this guy, losing 1 total damage. Foxy would deal 3 freeze and 3 poison to the Pepper Witch, which would clear it over a couple turns. I think I might actually need to... I could also play Flame Water here. No, I can't let Grumps go this turn, so I just have to kill it. Because 14 damage will kill my guy. It is unfortunate that all of that damage is wasted from Foxy. This guy can't have more than one... can't have more than 1 frozen. Looks like no more enemies are appearing, so I can at this point deal 2 damage to everything and give it shield. This guy is attacking for 15 though, and I have no way of blocking that currently. So I could tank it on my leader here. I think I spent too much time building up shields early in this fight, so now we're in a little bit of trouble. Definitely are going to need to tank 1 turn of this. I could play a shielding effect. I think we're going to need to do that. So this guy's hitting for... Oh, no, wait. This guy's only hitting for 9, not 15. This is included. Okay, well 9 is still not great for us, but not as bad. Then we will be hitting it for 4 in 2 turns, so I could clear it over 2 rounds. Alternatively, I could try to trigger a reshuffle, or I could just play more block on all of my units. King Moko hitting 5 times means we do need to pretty much just keep him frozen every time once his cooldown starts going off. So we'll want Foxy sort of full-time targeting him. Let's move Big Berry and gain some shields. Or I could... Actually, let's just spend this turn buffing up Foxy. Tank 9 damage there. We don't have the damage to clear this in a single round. We do need to move our leader to tank, unfortunately. I think at this point I should probably use a reshuffle and start getting my freezing effects out. Dealing 4 to this. I could also just hit it, deal 4 to it, and then kill it next turn, which does stop the scaling. I think we do need to move our leader here, where she will tank. We're taking 5 on our block, which is fine. We cannot play Shellbow where in the lane where Big Berry is, at least not without healing him first. I do need to clear this over the next 2 turns. So let's do this. This will now be hitting for 5 and this for 2. This guy's hitting for 1, which we can absolutely accept. All the enemies will go first. Is there a way to see whether Foxy will go before my units or not? What's this? Oh, nice. Perfect. Okay, Foxy is currently going before Big Berry, but after everyone else. The spice won't matter for what we're doing, though. Do I want Foxy to hit King Moko this turn? Or do I want Foxy to clear the Makoko? I think, actually, in this case, we're going to want Foxy to help clear. So let's shift Foxy up here. Then we'll tank 2 damage. We're going to reshuffle to kill the Makoko. We're tanking 3 damage on Ow Snow, and then clearing the Makoko with Poison and Freeze. And then we can focus on just this bottom lane. So we get this redraw, we sword this guy. Wait. Did I misread this somehow? Oh, its damage has been decreased because I hit that other unit with it. Okay. I hadn't realized that that worked that way. Which also means that this Makoko is not dead currently, and we no longer have any form of direct damage in the deck. I could just hit it with a freeze, and that would guarantee it's dead. I do also need to use my freezes to keep King Moko stunned as much as I can. Probably going to lose a unit or 2 here, but let's see what we can do. Use this just to clear that unit out. At this point, I need to keep this guy frozen as often as possible to stop his gigantic attack from ticking down. This unit is now hitting for 7, which we currently don't have a way to block. I could heal on Foxy and block with that. I could trigger a reshuffle and freeze it. I also want to move Foxy ahead of Big Berry so he gets the triple spice. I'm assuming that you only get the spice on a single strike of the 3 strikes. I think we need to freeze the Pepper Witch, so let's do a reshuffle. Notice how my small deck is letting me really control what cards I'm drawing every turn. So that gave us... Wait, let me check that battle log. Foxy hits King Moko, dealing 11, 14, 8, 11, 14. Okay, so these spice effects did not get removed on the first attack. So every spice works with every trigger of Frenzy. That's extremely good to know. At this point, I need to get ready to tank 1 more hit. We've got 3 damage. As soon as Foxy goes off, we win. So this guy's on a 3-turn cooldown, need to delay him for 1 turn. This guy's on a 2-turn cooldown, need to delay her for 1 turn. We can let Big Berry just tank this hit, I guess. But let's use my freezing effect. That was actually a mistake. Should have frozen this unit. Oh, that was actually a double mistake. Should have frozen this unit because this was already on 1 freezing effect, so it can't go above 1. And the Pepper Witch was on a lower cooldown, so I could have frozen her, leaving her unable to act until after I can trigger the reshuffle, redraw the freeze, and then refreeze King Moko. At this point, we now need Big Berry to tank this gigantic hit, because we need Foxy to finish off the fight, and we need to not lose. And I actually need to discard my hand, take a turn to redraw so that I can get a 1-turn delay on King Moko here. Sorry, Big Berry. Hope you're not dead forever. Now we can place this delay. And then Foxy finishes the fight. Big Berry was injured in battle. If they survive the next battle, they'll recover. Okay, so they have half health and attack, but will die permanently, I suppose, if we allow them to get hurt again. So that's a problem. Have another card removal effect, which we don't actually need, but let's go grab a card. Let's also make sure that my sword recovered. So that was a little bit of a sloppy fight by me. Definitely could have read the cards and kind of kept track of what was going on a little better. Alright, we've got a unit with 2 scrap, so reduces by 1 when any damage is taken. Trigger when spice reaches 10, destroy self. Reaction. This card will trigger when spice reaches 10. Frenzy multiple times. I see. So we can have it attack 5 times based on however much spice it has collected. While active, all allies retain spice. Well, again, we have no way of producing that. While active, add +2 to items in my hand. Is there a way to tell what of my cards are items? Meant to click my deck. I'm not 100% certain which of these cards are items, but we will, I think, pick up this Spice Sparkler. At worst, it can block a hit for us. Then I have a choice between another card and some money, or removing a card, which I don't actually have any cards that I want to remove currently. I guess I can remove this Pinkberry Juice, and maybe just one more sword, and then grab another companion. I do think having another companion would be pretty valuable for this deck, but removing my only way to heal companions does feel a little bit dangerous. Still, removing cards, as I said, is still really good, so let's do that thing. Yes, we'll feed the Munter. We're going to get rid of 1 sword for sure, and I believe I will remove this healing effect. We do have a little bit of potential healing if we arrange for Big Berry to get a kill, although it's harder for him because of the injury. Let's go to this Frozen Traveler and see what guy we get. Lil Berry gets 2 attack whenever he's healed. Apply to poison, increase by 1 whenever hit. So this guy just attacks for poison, not actual damage. When hit, apply 3 block to ally behind. Colonel, Fun Gun, or Little Berry. Let's take a look at our deck. I think currently we are not terribly lacking in ways to deal damage just because this Foxy is so good. I do probably want another tank because my current tank is out of commission. So let's get Colonel and we can do some swapping around. Now we must face the Woolly Drac. Alright, they've got 5 damage that hits everything, 2 damage that is just on our 2-turn cooldown, and this guy eats and absorbs a random ally. Take health effects and status effects. Interesting. Okay, and it is also on a snow resist effect. Well, let's place down our guys. Sure, we'll do them in this way. Going to start, I think, just by placing Foxy. Start that counter ticking. At this point now, I can have Colonel get out there and start applying block. I do need to remove Barrage. One thing I also don't know is, will the boss go before the barraging enemy? Because if it does and can eat the barrage, that could be a real problem for me. But it doesn't look like it does that. We'll have Foxy hit Bigfoot. We'll have Grumble hit, let's move Big Berry, and I'm just going to place Colonel and get 3 shields on something. I guess actually let's do it in this order to make sure that I have more units that can take a hit. Now I've gotten everything to take down, so let's have Foxy up here where he can stop this guy from ever attacking, hopefully. Place the hammer, I can have it hit the Woolly Drek. I could also just place these sparklers to block an attack. I think I'm fairly happy doing that, or I could get Foxy up to 6 attack. Let's actually get Foxy buffed. I think that will be pretty important going forward in this fight. This means that Bigfoot will never get to go, which is pretty nice. And actually, we can have Big Berry clear Bigfoot and heal him and Colonel. It does waste 3 damage, but I think a 4-point heal is more important than the 3 damage. There's no way I can finesse this to get Gromble to hit something in the top row, but that's okay. I could have Gromble hit the Spice Sparklers, but I think I actually want my Spice Sparklers to be out, just so we can see what that does. Yes, it does increase the damage of each of these, which is bad for the Shell Bow, but good for Hongo's Hammer. This guy's going to absorb, going up to 5 attack, so I would like to block it on the guy with Shell. I also want... doesn't matter which row these guys are in, but I'm going to hit the Woolly Drek with the poisoning effect. Hits twice, gets it for 6 poison. Eats the guy, but that's okay. We've now got it to 5 poison. I can deal 4 damage and apply 5 shell to all the enemies. That doesn't seem that great, so the Shell Bow is not a combo with the Spice Sparklers. I didn't particularly think it would be, but it's good to know that that's possible. Let's move this, get Foxy down here, where he'll hit the Woolly Drek and just apply more poison, because I think our plan for this fight is just to end it quickly. Gonna trigger a reshuffle here so I can start freezing some things. I could also just hit the Goblin for 4 health. For 4 money. Looks like we're going to get this up to 8 poison, and it will be at 14, so it's dying in 2 turns. Deal 4 damage to this. I can deal 4 damage to something else. Let's hit this and freeze it, just in case the fight goes on after we kill the Woolly Drek. My current plan is just to allow this guy to tick out. This guy can tank 2 damage. That's totally fine. And I'm just going to try to get the most health, most money that I can out of this goblin. I suppose let's kill it with a scrappy sword, saving the snow stick for an important enemy if this Woolly Drek dying doesn't end the combat. Got 4 money. Take 2 damage on each couple of units. Alright, so hitting the big guy did not end the combat. Good to know. At this point, I could just improve Foxy's attack, although Foxy at this point just one-shots anything that he hits anyways. Could just place a freezing effect on the Bigfoot. We'll probably do that so that Foxy can stop it from ever attacking. See if we're going to get a boss. 4 enemies arriving in 2 turns, not enough space, 1 enemy will overflow next wave. Okay, good to know. Take 2, so I want to place something behind Colonel to make sure that Colonel is providing the value from the block. I also don't want Foxy... No, I do want Foxy hitting the Bigfoot. If I buff Foxy's attack, it will also hit Gromble, which seems pretty good, just getting 1 freeze and a poison on that as well. So let's get that and just keep Foxy going. Big Berry is definitely starting to suffer this round, but hopefully we can keep that in check. Triggering a reshuffle here just to see what we can get, whether it be stuns or anything else. do 4 damage and clear this Gromble this turn, so let's do that. Alright, in comes the Big Lou. This is the boss. So, resist snow. All the bosses having resist snow, I can't say is actually my favorite mechanic, because snow is such a cool mechanic in this game, and all the bosses resisting it just makes it feel a little bad to use. When hit, gains 2 teeth. Okay, so this unit gets spikes, but if we just don't hit it, that's totally fine. Currently, Gromble is attacking. Big Lou will eventually attack with a barrage. Bigfoot will eventually attack with a barrage. I think at this point, though, I just want to have the boss not go off. I could also buff Foxy, so he 2-shots this. I don't believe there's a way to get Big Berry to kill it. I guess I could move Foxy in front and then have Big Berry kill it, but that's only worth 2 health, or 3 if I move, or 4 if I move something else down. So I think I actually am just going to keep increasing Foxy's damage here. Currently have both of these attacking for 2, but that's totally fine. I will move my leader down here to tank 2 damage, and move Big Berry up here just to get 2 shell. No, because I don't want to hit the Pawpaw, so I don't want Big Berry down up in the top lane, or anything that's going to attack this round up in the top lane. So let's have Colonel down here. Colonel will go down to 2 health, but that's okay. And then my leader can tank 2 on her shell. Then I'm going to place a freeze on this Bigfoot. Just stop it from attacking. We're getting 1 freeze on the Big Lou anyways from Foxy's 3rd attack here. And it can never have more than 1. Not going to make the same mistake I made last round of stacking multiple freezes here. We can tank 1 damage on our boss, no problem. Dealing 3 here. This already has a freeze, so I don't want to do that. Let's play a Snow Stick on, I suppose, on Gromble. Just allow this Pawpaw to deal 1 damage every turn. Here, I think the most effective thing I can do is just continue to stop this guy from attacking. So let's trigger a reshuffle. Did draw 2 freezes. We're down to 5 cards in the deck, so we're drawing the same 5 cards every turn, or every reshuffle. So I actually want 1 more total card, since we end up with this setup, so that we have the same 6 cards every reshuffle, rather than the same 5 cards. At this point, I'm going to apply 1 freeze to the Big Lou to stop it from attacking. This turn, Foxy's going to do that. Let's also swap Ousno and Colonel, so that we're doing the damage not to the Pawpaw. Continuing to freeze this Bigfoot so that it never gets to attack. And looks like killing that boss does end this fight. Great, alright. That was a cleaner fight than the last time, and Big Berry has recovered, which is great. I could use the Muncher to remove the Shellbow, because it combos so badly with our Spice Sparklers, or I could remove the Spice Sparklers. I don't have a second card I want to remove, though. I think I'm actually, in this case, going to not do card removal, and we'll pick up a treasure here. Oh, first I go get money. I always think I'm 1 tile further than I am. Because, as I said, I want to have 6 total cards after I've done all of my playing things out to the table. Alright, hits all undamaged enemies for 5. That's pretty cool. And that will be 7 with our buff. 7 Spice Consume will allow Foxy to deal 21 additional damage, which is also really great. Whenever anything is poisoned, double the amount and lose 1 scrap. So this can either tank 3 hits or double a bunch of poisons. That also seems very good. I think a 7 damage nuke does seem quite valuable, hitting all undamaged enemies. That will let us clear problematic backline enemies, which currently our deck doesn't do very well. Having Foxy just instantly one-shot something is also very powerful, but Foxy's so good already. I think our biggest problem is going to be backline enemies, so we'll take this to clear them. Let's go to the shop. Alright, what's this do? Frost. Temporarily reduces attack, clears after triggering. Okay, it's the opposite of Spice. Apply for Snow, reduces by 1 when played. Deal 8 damage, target must be frozen. I don't like any of those cards. Shell. Apply 9 Shell, reduce health by 2, and consume. That's actually not terrible for our deck. Our units are not healing enough that we care that much about their maximum health. Let's start with a crown, I think. Then we can start Foxy in play as well. Oh, here we go. Give that to Foxy. Starting that counter ticking down just seems really important to me. Then I can either go for a charm or this nutshell cake. I think I really like just having the card quality of my cards be higher, so let's grab a charm. I also just want to see what charms are available. Balance charm. Set health, attack, and cooldown to 3. So if I can only equip this to a unit. I could reduce Foxy's health by 1 to make him hit for 9. That does seem very powerful. Reducing his health by 1 does make me nervous, because 3 is a lot less than 4. But, you know, live and learn. Maybe this is too much. I do wonder if there's a maximum number of charms that can be applied to any unit. This should give Foxy just a ton of ability to clear through enemies very quickly. Alright, nothing else that I can afford here, so let's go on. And face Crunker. Alright, so Crunker has Backline and Bombard. Deploys to the back of the row. Okay, cool. Deploys to the front of the row. Counterattack after taking a hit, so this will take 3 total hits and then hit back. And I assume it hits the unit that hit it, not the unit that is in front. Bombard hits all targets in the targeted areas. Okay, cool. So on its turn, I definitely will need to arrange my units so that it's not hitting anything too important. But let's place our units out like so. If I can clear through this Grink ahead of time, then we should be able to hit Crunker. One thing I'm not certain of is, can poison be played on Scrap? Does that work? Or will this just do 1 damage? I could play out Colonel. I could try freezing the Crunker. I don't think we care if it hits Big Berry for 1 and applies to Frost. Let's try to learn if poison works on Scrap units. Okay, hits twice, applies 6 poison, and it does. So over the next 5 turns, this guy will die. Great to know. I think we're going to allow this to happen. I can play this just for extra damage to undamaged units. I could just get Colonel out. I could start buffing Foxy up. Playing the Spice Sparklers I'm a little concerned by because the Bombard I think is going to be a real problem here. I think let's just get Colonel out. We will need to arrange it so that Wait, is there... Yes, there is a way I can arrange it so that only one unit takes a hit. No. If I play out another unit, then 2 units are going to take a hit from this unless I freeze it. Although I can just freeze it this turn as well, or next turn. Let's play Colonel and then plan to freeze the Crunker next turn. That will stop it from going twice. Foxy's going to clear this Grink. Actually, possibly a better play would have been to have Foxy just increase Foxy's damage. Then Foxy would have done 1, 2, 3 over here. And then Big Berry would be able to get the kill this round. So, bit of a sequencing error there from me. I don't think we care if these guys just hit the spike wall. I could play the Pom Bomb just to deal 1 to the spike wall, but I think in this case I'm going to just get out the Spice Sparklers. Get those ready for when more enemies arrive. Crunker dies. And then we see, is this a... Yes, okay, there is a second stage to this fight. It's on a 2-turn cooldown, but now has health. Poison being very good against Scrap is something that is, I think, going to be very important to keep in mind as well. I could just ignore this spike wall, and I think I will. So let's swap these guys around so that we are just dealing damage to the backline unit. A couple more enemies are going to arrive, and then we'll play the Pom Bomb. So in the meantime, I'm just going to buff Foxy's health. Actually, thinking about that, I need to freeze the Crunker in 2 rounds. Or next round. And then Foxy will hit it. So we'll buff Foxy's health and see if playing the Pom Bomb will work, or if I will need to trigger a reshuffle and freeze Crunker. Although, it only does 3 damage now, so actually... And it's targeting only 2 tiles, one of which is missing. So, including a bunch of its own tiles? Interesting, I guess it targets tiles randomly across the field. So yeah, so we can definitely just take a turn off and buff. I'm okay if Colonel takes a hit here. Got a punching enemy and 2 more Grinks. This is 15 health, 3 attack. Definitely don't want to move Foxy, just have Foxy hit this, but we will play the Pom Bomb. Just going to really carefully read what's happening here. I think this is going to deal 6 damage to itself and just a ton of damage to all of its own units, and then 3 to Colonel. So, yeah. Let's throw this out. Deals damage to everything. Blows up all its own units, and then Foxy gets to hit it once, which is kind of nice. Now it's targeting more of my side of the field. Big Berry will heal whenever he gets to hit. But in the meantime, we'll just go for a reshuffle. I can play Pom Bomb to clear out the spike wall. I could just buff up Foxy again, just for more damage. I don't want to play a freezing effect because it's already frozen, so let's go with the sword. Here I'll play a freezing effect because it's not currently frozen. Big Berry kills that and heals. I guess I should have moved Colonel up there for the heal. That was a slightly sloppy play by me. Here I'm going to buff Foxy, and Foxy with 5 attacks should kill the boss. We'll see if it has a 3rd stage. It does not. Alright, so at this point I can either get card draw +1 or companion limit +1. I think I'm pretty happy with where my card draw is. Having the extra redraws is nice, although these two do combo very well together. Companion limit We don't have enough companions to run into the companion limit currently, but I think we'll probably be selecting... I think I'll just select card draw. Currently, we're not running into the companion limit. I'm very happy with where my deck is, and we're only going to be looking to add 1 or 2 more cards to it that we can then just cycle through every round. So getting the card draw means that we will be able to keep using this deck and the same set of cards every turn. We have now defeated Act 2, and so once again, I'm going to be making the cut here. But as always, my friends, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the video and the series. Let me know if you think there's anything I should do differently, and also let me know if you think there's other games I should cover, things that you would like to see from the channel. I've been really enjoying getting back into recording videos, and I'm very interested in your feedback. It's been very interesting taking a 10-year break from YouTube and then coming back, so let's see how things go. Thanks for watching, my friends, and catch you next time. GG.